Welcome back to the Trader Spotlight, everyone. I am lead trainer with StocksToTrade, Tim Bowen here, bringing you another quick video into that mindset and goals and all the things that we can glean from so many of these traders out there. I mean, again, it's a wild market out there. I say this pretty much every video on this channel, but never seen anything like this. I think it's going to continue to grow. And what we want to do for you here is get you up to speed as quick as possible. So today we're going to be talking about this market and how a trader is crushing it. All right, as I mentioned, we've got Jack Kellogg here for the Trader Spotlight, and please be sure to ring that bell, subscribe, and share these videos with your friends. I mean, Jack's a young guy. Many of you, I mean, if you're watching trading videos on YouTube, I hate to pigeonhole you, but I'm guessing you're probably young. You're probably looking for options. Maybe you don't know if you're going back to your job. Heck, maybe you don't even know if you're going back to college. This is a great time to learn this stuff, and we put out a ton of videos, everything from how-tos. We break down jargon, we break down chart patterns. We've got a long-form chart podcast. We've got a short-form podcast that Jack helps out with a lot. So ring that bell, subscribe, and share with your friends. So welcome back, Jack. How's it going, my man?
What's up, Bowen? What's going on?
So what we want to talk about today is, we're recording this video middle of June 2020, and I mean, you're just crushing it lately. I mean, I didn't realize, it's funny. We were chatting beforehand. I just see everybody, quote unquote, everybody. I mean, now I don't want to get too hyperbolic. When I say everybody, I say the people that have studied, put in the time, put in the effort, not some guy that started yesterday, but I'm talking about kind of everybody, whether it be in the StocksToTrade community or the Tim Sykes community, or a lot of these other communities where people are actually being professionals and approaching the market. But I'd lost track. And then that's why we got you here is, you broke over 400K 6 months into the year. So tell me about it. What's the why? Okay, that's something I always like to do when I'm talking about trade setups is I think the best way to teach it is, okay, if we're looking at this ticker, what's the float? What's the news? What's the volume? Is it a previous runner? That's the why. So what do you think the why is behind this breakout year for you?
The why is the volatility that we have been seeing in the market and the preparation that I have put in over the last 3 years in 2017, 2018, 2019. And this year, I started with about $110,000 in my trading accounts that I'd made from the year before. And the majority of that money came from the first few months in 2019 when the market was good. And then the market kind of shifted and was a little bit slower, but I still showed up every single day and I was practicing. And I was recording my screen and I was watching tape on NASDAQs after hours.
Beautiful.
Just practice and just get better at NASDAQs, because if you look at my Profitly.
No, I don't want to miss over this. So I'm the king of interrupting, I know. But so what were you doing? Were you just like the most liquid NASDAQ of the day? Were you just recording the screen and then watching it accelerated time? Or I've never heard you explain that. What explain that to me?
Yeah, I would just record my screen on a couple of the stocks on the day, 2 or 3, whichever ones I thought were liquid and volatile and ones that I could take advantage of. And I basically just recorded that because I'm not going to be able to watch it and learn as much because I'm only getting that quick volume at the market open, and it's so much to watch and take in. But I would just slow it down and just rewatch it until, I go to bed till it's like 7, 8 o'clock at night. Because I was in Michigan, I didn't have any family out there. I barely had any friends, and I was just grinding learning how the stocks trade. And this year I came in and I've been green every single week this year. Simply just coming into the market and extracting the most money I can with the least risk possible. And how do I do that? I start in small to my position so I don't get over convicted. And once the trade starts working for me, then I scale into my winner and I bring my risk down because I'm adding conviction size on. And that's when I'm bringing my risk down because I think it's going to go in my favor, high odds. And I've just been really good at stopping out of my losers. I've only had 2 red days over $1,000 that I had a couple, red days. I have a few red days every month that are just $1,000 or less, but I had 2 bad trades this year on mRNA and APRN. I lost about $5,000 on each of them. And that sucked, but that's just part of trading. Sometimes you're not going to mentally be there. You can't be perfect all the time. And that's really been my only mistakes. But every day I'm just showing up and I'm trying to put myself in the least risk as possible with the most reward potentially. I'm sticking to huge dip buys on multi-day runners. I like dip buying those. I like shorting them as well when they are going red, and I like shorting the bounces. So I can trade that entire move, short, long, and then short again. And that's a big ability because I'm able to really maximize my profits by taking the entire move. And then the other stocks that I'm just trading, first green days, the pattern you talk about when it's holding over VWAP and it's perking to the close. I like trading that. I like trading breakouts. And I have incorporated a little bit this year into parabolic shorting. And that's just some of these stocks that once all the people are blowing up, when all the shorts are blowing up, then that's when I want to short because I want to be shorting the blow ups. And that's when people are too scared to be shorting. So I'll be shorting there and covering into VWAP a lot of the time. So that's another one of my strategies that I've been doing this year. But I've been avoiding a lot of day ones and just focusing on the multi-day runners because there has been so many multi-day runners to trade. Yeah,
that's been one of the biggest themes for me is what I've loved about this year is, we talk about these, hey, everybody loves the big spiker of the day, but like before 2020, a lot of stocks would spike and fail, spike and fail, spike and fail. I mean, that's just standard penny stocks. Now we get these spikes, holds, push into the close. Then maybe you get a little bit of a weak open, then it goes back green, grinds all day, gaps up the next day. So I think that's why one of the things that's been so nice about 2020 is, I mean, you can even miss day 1 or day 2 on some of these stocks because we just get so many multi-day and hell, multi-week runners that it's like there's so many potential entries and you don't feel like, oh, geez, I gotta buy, right in the morning because you can just kind of be like, well, I know we get all day moves, multi-day moves. I can just kind of sit back, wait and see if this stock holds and then enter. And, it's to me, FOMO level has just been so low because it's like, I can just be patient and wait.
Yeah, there's been so many opportunities out there. And that was a good example on the ticker symbol CYDY the last couple of days where I just simply have joined the morning spike and exited, and I don't care what it does for the rest of the day because I'm just taking the most predictable spike, whether it's going to be 20 to 30 cents at the market open yesterday and today, and that's just extra wallet pads that I can add on to my day that are low risk.
Yeah, just on again on a side note, I'd kind of we were recording a couple other videos. I hadn't checked on it. Yeah, of course, CYDY, great example. It broke out 3 or 4 days ago. It's been green every day. It's green today, and it's a few cents off the high day. I mean, that's just a great example of what we're talking about. Normally, again, I joke about the olden days, but, these OTCs, you'd get a 1-day spike. Next day, they gap down and fade back into oblivion. Here, CYDLI is on the 4th or 5th green day, and we're recording in the afternoon. It's just a couple pennies off the high day. Who knows? Might have a 5th or a 6th green day this week.
Yeah, just absolutely insane staying power and buying power from a lot of these multi-day runners. And
now, go ahead, finish. Sorry.
I've just been really good this year too of just not fighting anything that's not working. I only want to be trading stocks where it's working because my mental energy can be used somewhere else. It doesn't need to be wasted on a loser ever. And I've just understood that so good this year that I can just move on from things super quickly, and I really don't fight anything, and it's just focusing on my winners.
Great point. And I know that's, and again, this is the experience I want to give to the newer traders that are listening or watching these videos is, I mean, I joke all the time about the dark days of day trading. I mean, 2012 to like 2015 was, I mean, you had FOMO all the time because, man, sometimes we'd go days with no like really good setup. And so listen to what Jack said. I mean, there's no reason to fight. There's no reason to add to a loser and play that game that we've all done, and maybe you're doing now as a newer trader. Just move on, because man, if your stop is violated, 5 minutes later, there's going to be another trade. 10 minutes later, tomorrow, there's going to be 5 more. So keep that in mind. Don't fight. Don't add to losers. Just if it's not working, cut it and move on.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just been so key to stay on my A game the entire year. Is just it's the loss, right? You're going to take a loss in the money perspective, but you're also going to take a loss because now you're going to be less confident in the mental, and you don't understand how much money that you're potentially going to be now not being able to make because you're not on your A game. So it's just key to stay on your A game.
So last question here, I want to kind of finish on. So you kind of talked about scaling into winter, moving in and out. Obviously, you've got the freedom of being over the PDT. So you've earned that. I mean, you've earned the right to be over the PDT. So, most of our listeners, most of our viewers, new traders, probably 95% are under the PDT. So yes, the market is amazing, but I'm Joe Smith under the PDT. I can only make 3 day trades a week. What's your advice to that guy or that gal under the PDT that wants to grow their account and hopefully get to that point where they're where you are and they can freely trade with an account that's not earned?
So what I would say for somebody with a small account is just be focusing on afternoon trades, because in the morning it's super volatile and it's so easy to waste a trade, to potentially say, no, I'm going to hold this, kind of see if it comes back. Where in the afternoon, support and resistance is very solidified. The volume on the day is coming in, so you can see which one has the most volume and all that stuff. But I'll just be focusing on breakouts that are holding over VWAP into the close with a solid support, a solid catalyst, a solid sector, and not too much resistance overhead, and potentially selling into that gap up and morning spike. Just kind of doing that rinse and repeat. And I would be watching morning panic dip buys, but not executing on the trades yet. I would just be watching and trying to learn those trades too, because that's where you can use your day trades. But I would just focus on trading really small, staying in the game, and just learning.
Beautiful. Love it, man. That's stuff I talk about all the time. I mean, people are always like, what's, probably the number one question I get is, hey, what's the best way to trade under the PDT? And you verbatim, I agree with everything Jack said. I always say, be there in the morning. Okay. See what's moving, see the why, take your notes, get ready, but then execute in the afternoon, because the beauty of that is, let's say you buy that VWAP high day break or that VWAP or that 52-week break. The beauty is that so many of these stocks close strong. Quite frequently, they gap up. So now you can sell the next day and you're making day trade like returns, but not using that day trade because you're focusing on the afternoon. And then this is the thing I always tell people is you use your day trades for, you turn that overnight into a day trade for two reasons. Number one, if your stop gets hit, your stop gets hit. You take that. And yes, you got a loser. And yes, you burned a day trade, but when these stocks start fading into the close, they tend to gap down. So you minimize your loss. So burn that day trade for a loser, because you can't be a bag holder. Or if your stock just goes bananas, I mean, if you buy, like many of these do, these high volume breakouts, if it rips and all of a sudden you're up $1 a share or $2 a share, or who knows, then you burn that day trade too, because you lock in that big gain. So love it. I mean, that's again the biggest keys. Afternoons, and burn your day trades on losers and big winners. So well, thanks, Jack. This was good stuff, man. I always really appreciate talking with you. And check out on our YouTube. We did a podcast about a year ago with Jack. I did a couple of interviews with him at the Tim Sykes conference. And then we also did a recent YouTube video talking about kind of his origin story. Young or old, male or female, beginner, intermediate, whatever. Jack's got an incredible story. And so much of it just boils down to passion. Again, I think he's got it in him. You know, I wish I had, like day trading capabilities when I was his age. I'd like to think I would have been as active as a day trader as him, but I was on dial-up internet. I don't even know if I don't even know if I could have opened a brokerage account in 1989. But anyway, so check out those videos. Thanks again, Jack. Great stuff. And be sure, like he mentioned, he's been working with Matt and Kyle on this week in steady trade. So you can search for Twist on our channel and check out those mini podcasts. It's cool stuff. They're doing great work. So thanks again, Jack.
Thank you.